hold my gun like this. It's the law. Philadelphia Crime Code 6108 says I can hold my long arm in my hand. Just can't have my finger on the trigger, which is not. So don't ask me to do nothing that's against the law. Can I help you? I'm out here minding my business. I'm out here to control and watch you. Anything else? Because you guys like beating up our teenagers. Somebody sent us a video of y'all beating up teenagers.
Y'all, wasn't it?
Huh? It was y'all. You're a police officer. You part of that. You part of that. It was y'all. It was y'all. If you don't like to be labeled in with the slave catchers, you shouldn't have taken that oath, sellout. You are a sellout. You wearing their You are a sellout. You ain't protecting. You got to do whatever they tell you to, including hurt your people. Because you're walking up to me and I don't like you and I don't trust you and I don't got no conversation with you. So unless you're investigating the crime, leave me the alone.
Oh, when I'm here,
I don't care. I got a gun license right here. This is legal. Philadelphia Crime Code 6108. Move your car out of people's way and get the out of my face. Thank you, officer.
Have a good day.
You have a bad one. Sell out. You smiling for a sellout? Do you know where you came from? Slave catchers hired you to help catch their property, which was us. Slave catcher controls the origin of that cash. Go where you're needed. We don't need your help. Get out the street. Like your supervisor said, get out the street. Go with him. Go with him. Get out the street. You blocking traffic. Get out the street.
In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Black Panthers were present, which led to the cops showing up. The men knew their rights, and we saw a walk-off from the police.
No ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's going to happen. They touch me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people while we're standing here, find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for self-defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now, you dig? Carry bigger guns and we don't take no places where there are a lot of immigrants at. I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them and needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't going to act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles and shotguns. It's a semi-automatic shotgun. That means them shotgun shells that shoot out of a pump, they shoot them rapidly. If you are going to legally arm yourself with something bigger than what they got. Those who serve in the public, they should be fearful of the public. They should be fearful that the public's going to be dissatisfied with their job that they're doing, not feeling like they're tyrants, not feeling like they're bullies because they got guns and body armor and walkie-talkies. That makes them immune to whatever the people would do. I think you want to correct the ideology of the pig and the mentality of the slave catcher. You meet them with equal force. All power to the No
power to the pig.
Not only that, they were seen at the anti-ICE protests. Now, there will be many libs upset at this.
I was raised to believe that the KKK and the Black Panther Party were equal and opposite entities. And it wasn't until I watched Forrest Gump that I had exposure to what the Black Panther Party might actually be. This is obviously a result of me being a white kid raised in Texas. I literally thought that like Huey Newton was like akin to like the Grand Wizard of the Triple K. Like the benevolent government, took out this threat that was, causing black supremacy. I mean, I'm a young kid. I don't understand that black supremacy doesn't exist, and I'm white and I'm being told to be scared of these people. This is a condition that you're conditioned to in conservative America. It's the early 2000s. They're this malevolent evil akin to the biggest terror cells in the world. Meanwhile, they're feeding thousands of children in every major American city. Meanwhile, they're this engine of a black renaissance in America being combated by the CIA. Then I watched Forrest Gump and I'm a kid and I'm like, if this is an accurate depiction, I mean, at worst, they're like a little rough around the edges. This seems okay to me. Like, I don't know. Mind you, that movie doesn't even do like an incredible job at like illustrating the Black Panther Party either. But it was enough to make me think about it and start to learn about it. And the rest is history. But it's crazy.
But one dude gives the tea on the propaganda we all took in and how so many liken the Panthers to extremist movements.
Yeah. And just open-ended, any comments you want to give to like my generation, the younger generation, or just any generation.
Legally arm yourselves and unify or else you will die. And I mean that in the literal sense. You see on the news all the time, Renee, everybody say her name, Renee.
Renee.
Right? She just got shot in the face by ICE, right? This is a real thing, and they're not gonna stop. And the more they hurt people and get away with it, the more they're gonna get that momentum to keep going. So everybody needs to unify and come together, and everybody needs to arm themselves, right? Because the revolution is in the barrel of a gun, whether you believe it or not. You want to be comfortable and you want to be nice. You don't want no confrontation. Look, Huey P. Newton said it the best. Anybody without a gun is either a slave or they're about to be one. You know? So, and people worried about people being scared of him. Huey P. Newton also said this when somebody asked him, don't you think the Black Panther Party is scary? Don't you think it's scaring people? He said, my people have been the ones afraid. Hey, sister, we got free groceries over here. Free hot soup and free clothes. He said, my people be the one afraid for hundreds of years. So if you're saying people scared of us, now that's a compliment. That means we're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? Would you rather be scared of ICE? Would you rather be scared of the slave catcher, the police? Would you rather be scared of the government forces that are working against the people? Or would you rather be them scared to mess with you? See, a lot of people are asking why the Black Panthers are going up against ICE for the immigrants. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, the one that Huey Newton started with Bobby Seale, is an internationalist organization that stands as allies with oppressed people no matter what their ethnic background is, no matter what their cultural background is. All power to the people. We're not racist. The very ideology of racism in and of itself is not intellectual, being that there's only one race on the planet, and that's the human race. My goal is to protect my people from ICE, to protect my people from police brutality, to protect my people from crooked politicians, imperialism, to protect my people from imperialism, fascism, to protect my people from racism, to protect my people from capitalism. That's what my goal is, to protect my people from tyranny. I'm out here feeding people. I feed hundreds of people a week, if not thousands. You know, the Black Panther Party feeds people in multiple states across the country.
He would also clear up some questions many have asked, including,
a lot of people are saying that we should not stand up against ICE because we're standing for people that aren't us. And Black Panthers only stand for black people. That is a lie. Huey P. Newton said that we are internationalists and we stand with all oppressed people no matter what color they are. That's the founder of the Black Panther Party. Thing number two, the Black Panther Party created something called the Rainbow Coalition, which is a coalition of Hispanics, Asians, whites, and blacks from all over the world working together to fight oppression. Again, the Black Panthers stood with the Mexicans, stood with the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans, stood with the Japanese, the Vietnamese. The Black Panthers did a whole campaign to end the Vietnam War because they stood with Vietnam. So for you guys who are talking all of this gibberish about, oh, you guys aren't following traditions of the original, who do you think our leaders are? If you watch Huey Newton's speech, he specifically says, we are not black nationalists. We are internationalists. And we stand with all oppressed people across the globe, no matter what your ethnicity is.
one thing so many do not know nor care to comprehend is this.
You ever notice when they talk about the Black Panthers, they show you guns and berets, but they never show you what they actually wanted. Let's talk about the 10-point program. They wrote it in 1966 for the Black community with no apologies because they knew that no one else was coming to save them. But they didn't just call out racism in the abstract. They named the system, pointed the finger at capitalism, policing, war, and the way that the state kept Black communities in check.
And here is that plan. We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our Black and oppressed communities. We want full employment for our people, where it says, we believe that the federal government is responsible and obligated to give every person employment or a guaranteed income. We believe that if the American businessman will not give full employment, then the technology and means of production should be taken from the businessman and placed in the community so that the people of the community can organize and employ all of its people and give a high standard of living. We want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our Black and oppressed communities. It would also read, we believe that this racist government has robbed us, and now we are demanding the overdue debt of 40 acres and 2 mules. 40 acres and 2 mules were promised 100 years ago as restitution for slave labor and mass murder of Black people. We will accept the payment in currency, which will be distributed to our many communities. The American racist has taken part in the slaughter of our 50 million Black people. Therefore, we feel this is a modest demand that we make. We want decent housing, fit for the shelter of human beings. Not a lot to ask there. We want decent education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. Want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. Again, not asking much, considering how the history books are put in schools to deceive many of us from so many atrocities this country took part in. We want complete free healthcare for all Black and oppressed people. Again, free healthcare, not asking a lot, considering what we make as a nation and our value. We want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of Black people, other people of color, all oppressed people inside the U.S. Calling for accountability for police brutality, is this really that extreme? We want an immediate end to all wars of aggression. The Black Panther Party spoke out and did not want U.S. intervention in Vietnam, for example. We want freedom for all Black people and oppressed people, now held in U.S. federal, state, county, city, and military prisons and jails. We want trials by a jury of peers for all persons charged with so-called crimes under the laws of this country. And lastly, we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, peace, and people's community control of modern tech.
So next time you hear somebody say the Panthers were just violent or extreme, show them this. Show them the 10 points. Because the scariest thing about them wasn't the guns. It was the clarity. They knew exactly what they wanted, and they refused to settle for anything less.
From the videos we just saw, a bit more background here. The group, which identifies as part of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, is an entity of the 60s militant Black Power group founded by Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton. Black Enterprise Prince Paul Birdsong, who we discussed previously, labeled himself as the group's national chairman, and attending members feel ICE should be abolished and the current admin should be held accountable. The Inquirer adds, this quote from Birdsong, "You got people that are part of a cabal, that are self-serving, and they prey on the common folks of the U.S. He states that ICE needs to be abolished." For all those wondering if Chairman Birdsong is indeed allowed to open carry on the streets of Philadelphia. From the outlet, the law says you can carry a gun in Philly, but only if you have a license to carry. According to Dylan Harris, an attorney who focuses on gun rights, Harris would then say that open carry, or carrying a firearm in a way that it can be plainly seen by others, is generally lawful in the state, except for in prohibited locations such as federal buildings. Importantly, they add, but Philly is an exception to this rule. A state law prohibits carrying firearms in a first-class city without license to carry firearms. The statute applies to Philly.
The ticking off of what are our constitutional protections one by one on the amendments. The First Amendment, which is about, among other things, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and freedom to protest and peaceably assemble. That is, in certain quarters of the country right now, not in effect. The press are getting smoke bombed and gassed, just like the protesters on the sidewalk. And we have federal agents saying to people, raise your voice and I will erase your voice. The Second Amendment, which I have had to, my entire adult life, sit and swallow, that the Second Amendment is so sacrosanct that we must accept the cost of school shootings, because while tragic, there may one day be a day where the federal government comes for us, and we must be prepared to resist that. Now we see the federal government saying, well, your Second Amendment rights don't apply if you are annoying us, even if they apply in every other way. So that's the first two. The Third Amendment, kind of the forgotten amendment, that's the no quartering of soldiers. I'm not sure if this one's hanging by a thread, But I do know there was a hotel in Minneapolis that was like, we don't want your agents here. And the federal government's like, you can't do that. We're going to get your license ripped. Fourth Amendment, no illegal search and seizure. That don't apply at all anymore. Show me your papers. Fifth Amendment, again, the show me your papers stuff, which is, I don't have to talk to you. Yeah, you do actually. The sixth and seventh are about right to a fair trial. And what we're seeing is, man, you may not get to trial. The trial might be you the wrong guy in the street. That's 1 through 7.
On the Dan Le Batard show, FS1's Nick Wright was preaching
That we are 373 days in, and we're already to the point to where we're parsing which of the amendments are still fully strong. The repeal of prohibition, as strong as it was a year ago. Women's right to vote, as strong as it was a year ago. But those first 7 on shakier ground. And that should be concerning to everybody that claims to love this country.
And there's a reason why he's favored by many. He would also state this, and all video credit goes to the Dan Le Batard show. I think this is really, really worth your time. So here is one more anecdote on the Dan Le Batard show from Nick Wright.
At no point did they say that those of us that don't like it would then have to do, whether it is the math I think Victor Wembanyama is doing or the math Alex Preddy was doing, which is how much of my own personal constitutional rights or safety am I putting in jeopardy by expressing my objection? At no point was that put to a vote.
Some of the reactions very quickly that I saw to this video and the sentiments Nick expressed, and then I'll share my thoughts. From Sophie, low-key genius way to explain to normies what is happening, and more people on the left should utilize this exact argument. Another theme I have seen throughout was this. One thing I can say about Nick Wright, his takes are mostly bad in my opinion, but man, Nick, when he talks about this stuff, he's spot on. I salute you, brother. I still hate your takes about sports, LOL, but you're definitely on the right side, man. And from Roy, Nick Wright articulating more resistance than the leaders of the opposition party, of course, being the Democratic Party. When Nick is speaking on political matters, not to be redundant, but it matters. It does. I haven't seen this guy really miss with his political videos, his political analysis, and the reactions that he has had through the destruction of America by so-called patriots. He is going over how this administration, its minions, its cohorts, the Millers, the Gnomes, the backers, the oligarchs, the water carriers in Congress, those on city councils and local school boards who are MAGA, they have shown how they are the ultimate BSers. These people who really care about freedom of speech and how the left is targeting speech when really it was all about checking people who use bigotry-riddled rhetoric. And they like to say, you're limiting my freedom of speech. Meanwhile, Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump are kicking reporters and media companies out of their press conferences because they don't like them. There's a very good reason why Tim Pool went on that dumb rant yesterday talking about, oh, I'm not licking the boot. The boot is mine. He has as much moral fiber as he does hair follicles at this point. Why did I say this point? It's been like that. Tim Pool is allowed at White House press conferences because they signed the letter that they will allow editorial control to come from the White House with whatever they publish, including, this is real, Mike Lindell TV. We have seen one of their reporters get crushed by Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, where she says, "Do you even read? Please read." That's how bad this media landscape is. And Wright is going over the hypocrisies of these same people who claim to be constitutionalists, yet they want a third term. The same people who over and over again, and I'm glad Nick said it, defend school children being gunned down and murdered in this country just to defend the Second Amendment. And then when someone, Alex Preddy, gets murdered by the federal government's DHS subdivision of ICE as they are infiltrating and invading Minneapolis, he has a legal permit to carry. And now Donald Trump and Kash Patel and others on the right who claim to be staunch advocates for the Second Amendment are now saying, you know what? You shouldn't have a gun. You shouldn't show up to anything with a gun. Except in every other scenario in life. It's just that he went against ICE. So he's in the wrong and he shouldn't have a gun. Legal permit to carry. This is equivalent, and I see so many similarities to the arguments they made about politics in sports. It's not about having no politics in sports. It's about having none of your politics in sports. It's about not having Mahmoud Abdul Rauf's politics in sports. It's about not having Muhammad Ali's politics in sports. It's about not having Tommy Smith and John Carlos's politics in sports. It's about not having Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed's politics in sports. That's what it is. It shows how shameless they are. It shows the hypocrisies that they are full of. And this is where we're at now, where people like myself, whether it's flawed or not, defend people's right to protest, defend people's right, whether they're on the left or the right, to have religious freedom. I'm not a huge fan of the Second Amendment, and I think there should be stricter penalties and protocols for owning a gun. And yet these people who claim to be patriots are against it. It's not patriotism, it's fascism. And they do not see it. The same people who love the soldiers are defending a guy who called the soldiers suckers and losers. Our soldiers fought against the Nazis, and now they are defending the Nazis. They are defending the modern day Nazis. What a world we are living in. And it shows you just how not only deep it runs, but how strong the punch is in that entire container that they keep drinking from. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYTSports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.